Okay, everybody, so the other scenario is I want to grow my business, all right? At the start, I currently run 4 calls a day. I run 80 leads a month. I have an average of $1,200 per call, okay? Now, again, per call means callbacks, maintenance calls or safety inspections, estimate calls, and repair calls. So every time you step foot in a house, including callbacks, a lot of times people don't count inspections or safety inspections or tune-ups, and a lot of people don't call callbacks when they're figuring out their average sale. Also, I'll note one other thing. The word average ticket, that word has been mutilated by our industry, just so you know. Some people, that means sales divided by calls ran, and to some people it's sales divided by calls sold. So when you say average ticket, or when you're talking to somebody about average ticket, make sure you're both speaking the same language, because that word has been butchered over the years, just so you know. When I say it, I mean every time you step foot in the house. So I say dollars per lead or dollars per call ran, including callbacks, including warranties, including estimates, including repair calls, and including maintenances / inspections. Okay? All of those calls are the same. So, to the start, 4 calls a day, 80 a month, $1,200 when they step foot in the house. So 80 times 1,200, that's $96,000 of revenue is at the start. All right, so we have $96,000. This company is currently spending 10% on marketing, which is $9,600. They're spending 5% on fleet, which is $4,800. 0% on training, but they're 10% profitable right now. So they're at $9,600 of profit. And I'll tell you another thing with this training, okay? If you belong to a best practice group, like Nexstar or Certain Path or, I don't know, some of these other ones, Service Roundtable maybe, but if you're not using their sales training, you can't put the monthly membership fees in training if you're not actually using them for training. I know a lot of those companies, you have to pay extra for training. Or you might be paying a best practice group, like I believe Praxis S10 includes some training with their membership. Some do, some don't. But if you're not utilizing it, you can't put that dollar amount in here, okay? So if you're not doing it, it's nothing. You can't put the memberships in there. Don't make yourself feel better. All right. Now, company A says, I'm going to grow. So I'm just going to do the same thing I always have been doing. Just not going to change anything. And I'm going to add another person. So instead of running 4 calls a day, we're going to start running 6 calls a day because I hired another guy or I trained up another guy. So instead of 80 leads a month, we're now running 120 leads a month. All right? $1,200 per call hasn't changed. We're going to assume this new person is just as good as your existing person, which may or may not be true, but we're going to assume that for this exercise. So now instead of $96,000 in sales, we have $144,000 in sales. And business owners are like, yeah, look at my sales for the month. We're at 144, and before we're at 96. I'm so glad I hired this extra guy. We're still spending 10% on marketing. Now we need more money to feed more calls. So we're spending $14,000 instead of $9,600. We have to spend, instead of $4,800 in fleet, we have to spend $6,000 in fleet because we had to buy another truck. We have more fuel, we have more insurance, we have more maintenance costs, right? But we're still spending $0 in training, or we're doing it in-house, all right? 10% still profitable, $12,000. Okay, great. So we went from $9,600 to $12,000 in profit. Okay, great. Now, what if instead of hiring another person and buying more leads, we just put our money into sales training with a proven process that's scalable, repeatable, and we do it this way. 4 calls a day. We don't run any more calls a day. We don't run any more leads per month. Instead of $1,200, and the reason I picked $1,200 is because most people who hire me are at about $1,200. Again, take your sales divided by all calls ran. Warranties, callbacks, estimates, everything. Let's be honest with ourselves when we do this exercise. $1,200, okay? Now, we get it up to $2,000. And the reason I chose $2,000 is because the worst companies that I train that actually do what I tell them to do, the worst ones are doing $2,000. Some are doing up to $5,000. But I'm going to go with $2,000. I'm going to be conservative. We're going to play devil's advocate here. So instead of $1,200, it's $2,000. So instead of $96,000, we're doing $160,000 for the month. Okay? Instead of $96,000, we're doing $160,000. I haven't hired more people. I haven't bought any more leads. I don't need any more office staff. I don't need to stock another truck. None of that. Same people, all right? Instead of 10% marketing, I don't have to do any more marketing, so my dollars, my $9,600 doesn't change. But when the revenue goes up, the percentage goes down. So now I'm only at 6% marketing instead of 10. All right? Now, my fleet. I don't have to buy more trucks. I don't have to invest any more in repairs. I don't have to spend any more money on fuel. In fact, I might even argue I'm going to use less fuel, but we'll just stick with the same dollar amount. $4,800 here, $4,800 there. Now, I do need to hire a sales trainer because I have to have somebody who can get my average ticket from $1,200 to $2,000. So I'm going to hire somebody like Kent Bull to make sure my team is trained, okay? So my average customer, again, I have many different packages. My average customer is spending $3,000 a month. Now, I put $3,200 because I wanted to get a nice round percentage for you, especially for you high C disc profile people. So in this scenario, we're spending 2% on training, okay? So now we just gained a point because here I was 10% profitable. Now I'm 11% profitable because I gained a percentage in my expenses. But more importantly, my dollar amount is so much higher. So instead of $160,000, now I'm 11% of $160,000 instead of 10% of $96,000. So I went from making 10% profitable at $9,600 to 11% profitable at $17,600. So let me ask you, do you want to make $9,600, hire a guy, train him, give the marketing company more money and make $12,000? Or do you just want to keep the team, keep the trucks, get somebody down and dirty into your business to make sure that every call maximizes the opportunity, make 11% profit at $17,600? So if you want to grow, please don't hire more people. Please don't spend more money on marketing. Until you're at a minimum, and I mean a minimum of $2,000 every time you run a call, including warranties, including callbacks. Every time you step foot in a house should be $2,000 of revenue. If that's not happening today, don't grow in marketing and people. Grow in sales. Get this dollar amount. Now, once you get here, then we can start adding trucks and more marketing. Step 1 is sales training and processes. Thank you.